Check, check, we're rolling. Hey everyone, Jorge Soto, Jason Vargas here in Cartagena, Colombia. Just taking a couple days off to unwind. We've been talking a lot about what does it take to be the leader that we know we have to be able to not only scale our organizations, but be able to evolve so we can be happy people along the journey that, is the leadership or business journey, entrepreneurship, that sort of stuff. There was a topic that you have been talking a lot about now, and it's creating an environment that drives excellence, that drives culture.
Yep.
I want you to unpack that a little bit because I thought it was super powerful.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. There's a lot of sales leaders out there who they're constantly focusing on how do we build the right sales stack, what's the right data, what are the right activities to drive success for the team. But the one thing you never ever hear about is as a sales leader, how do you actually create environment? How do you create an environment for your team that they can actually excel in?
Yeah.
Right, because whatever environment you bring, and usually environment it's derived by the personality of the leader. So if they're charismatic and fun, the environment that the team's going to be built inside of is that,
Charismatic
right?
and fun. Yeah.
Now, if you have a boss who's a jerk, he's kind of an ass, like that, and he's really mean, that's going to build a whole different environment, right? Just by naturally by who he is. So one thing that I really want to start challenging sales leaders is how do you, personality aside, actually create an environment where your team can be successful? Because that really, that's the missing thing, I think, in a lot of sales teams, right? Is there's no intention in building an environment. The environment's always going to come derived naturally by the personality of that boss, but that can be disastrous for a company, right? If you look at Uber, CEO at the top, Travis, the environment he created by the nature of who he was has caused a lot of damage for an incredible company, right? So that's just something we're going to start challenging sales leaders to start considering other than just activities and strategies and things like that.
And so if you're a sales leader out there, what are some of the easy ways that you think you can get started? Is it something that is specific to us as individuals, or is it a learned behavior? Because
yeah, I think that's the tricky part, right? Because it's a learned behavior, but it's a behavior that they didn't even know they were learning. It's just who they've become, right? So how do you actually start looking at, okay, what kind of person am I, or what are the kind of qualities that I want the environment, my team to work inside of? What does that look like? And actually, just do the thinking. If there's just step one, just do the thinking. Understand who you are or what your personality is like, and then start asking, okay, what kind of environment has it already created? And then what are the things I actually want to inject into the environment where it creates and breeds more success?
You know what, dude? That really sounds a lot like being CEO, right? Where you have to be able to hire people that complement you, that even frankly will be able to own the things that you suck at, right? And so I know there's certainly a lot of things that I suck at and that I am intentionally focused on hiring around, right? And so if you think about that, it feels like it's a similar sort of analysis that you have to do as a leader in general, which says,
totally.
Hey, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Is organizational culture and that sort of stuff even something that I'm good at? And if not, that's okay, right? But then bring in the resources to actually start to think about that. I think that's incredibly important. For me, that's a basic sort of component of being a great leader, and particularly a great sales leader. Shout out to Brian Ross and all the Southwest Company door-to-door folks out there. Because that's, if you remember those sales leaders, they were charismatic. You wanted to be them.
Yeah.
Right? You were like a college kid, and you were like, I still want to be Brian Ross, And I'm almost 40 years old,
Yeah.
So I think that for me, that at Southwestern, they were able to build an organization that strategically leveraged the fact that if you really look up to your leader and and you tend to do that when they treat you really well, when they honor you and they provide the the encouragement and coaching, and really, really care about developing you, when you can build that team, and it's not just numbers, but the numbers have to be there, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying here?
Part of it, yeah, for sure, absolutely. I think it's hard. You really got to start. It's not a common conversation, right? It's not a typical topic, and so it's not just like a mathematical or typical best practice strategy to use. It's really the person has to start doing some thinking, right? Because no one talks about this. No sales leader actually intentionally creates an environment for the team, right? So, but I think it's a huge missing component. It should be added to everything that a sales leader is responsible for, from metrics to strategy to all those types of things. They got to start thinking about, okay, what about the environment I want to design for my team? Be intentional about
environmental design. I love that. Cool, Jason. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. It's great to have you here. We're in Cartagena. You probably heard some of the police or dogs or whatever. It's just folks outside. In any case, thanks so much. If you have any questions about this, how can folks? I know I want to start to dig in. How can folks ping you to learn more about these concepts? I know you're going to be writing some blog post about it, maybe a book.
A little behind on that. I don't know what book, but definitely a blog post. It's a little behind schedule. But yeah, you guys can hit me up on LinkedIn. Jason C. Vargas, I think, is the handle. And then same with Twitter, Jason C. Vargas.
Awesome. Cool.
Later.